Welcome back to Mac Movie Review, the separate spin-off part of this channel where I talk about movies. The Farewell is a movie I watched last night, and it was just kind of a movie that struck me as being really good. And it's been a really long time. The main reason I'm doing this is because it's been a really long time since I've talked about movies on the channel, and I love movies. I watch movies every day. Some days, literally every day I watch a movie. Like, I watch movies all the time. I love watching movies. I love watching movies that are kind of under the radar. I love watching movies that some people hate. And this movie falls into the first category. This movie's kind of under the radar. It doesn't really have any famous people in it. I mean, the lead actress was in, like, one of the Jumanji movies, one of the modern Jumanji movies, I believe. But she's not super famous, and nobody in this movie is. The director, I'm pretty sure Lily Wang, I think is the director's name. I don't quite remember. I didn't write it down. But I think this is her first, like, actual movie. This is an A24 film. If you know anything about A24, it means it's kind of on the indie side. It's kind of on the artsy side. It's kind of on the side that's going to please a lot of critics. Other A24 movies are other critic favorites, like Hereditary, Eighth Grade, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, even though that one's not, like, super highly rated. Uncut Gems is one of their highest rated movies, so they make a lot of very critically acclaimed movies, and this is one of them. The Farewell is massively critically acclaimed with, like, an 89 on Metacritic, which is huge. The Farewell is a movie about family. It's a movie about family. It's also a movie about culture. It's about Chinese culture, and this movie tries to make some comparisons to Chinese culture and American culture, because the main character and her family moved to America and they live in America, and they even have a debate at the table about which is better, America or Japan, and the topic of America is brought up several times by people in China and around the table. And it's this weird culture shock for the main characters. A lot of the emotional drama and where a lot of the tension in this movie comes from is her being the main character, this young teenage girl, or I guess she's in college, but this young woman is really baffled by the Chinese principle of not telling someone that they have cancer, this deadly cancer. And then, I mean, I'll get into spoilers, but she has this really bad, this is a spoiler, this is a major spoiler, she has this really bad conflict, and then I don't know, this was sort of hinted at in the beginning of the movie. It says this is based on a true story. And then at the very end of the movie, the grandmother, it says they didn't tell her that she had cancer, and 6 years later she's still alive. And it shows a real video of the real woman the movie is based off of. So that's really cool. This movie is also a comedy. The comedy in this movie is very, like, dry and super low key. And I mean, I feel like that's most comedy. And that's most of the comedy that, at least that people, I don't know. Some comedy is still kind of over the top and goofy, but this is very low key, like, kind of smarter jokes. And this movie has some really funny scenes. Also, great cinematography. This film looks fantastic and it sounds fantastic. This movie has some really great music. There's several shots in this movie where it's just people walking and music is playing. It's literally just, like, no words. Here comes the score, here comes some really great cinematography and some shots of people walking with no words. And the movie does that several times, and it kind of gives you, like, a breather for all the dialogue and all the stuff to kind of just digest and to take in what's going on. Even though this really isn't an action-packed movie, it's not a very intense, very active movie. It's very much a slow burner. It's well written, and it sounds good, and it looks great. And that's all I really want to say about this. I think a lot of people are not going to like this movie. It has, generally speaking, on IMDb, this has not been received well from the general public, super well. It's been received positively, but nearly like the response critics have given it. It has a 7.6 on IMDb, which is generally positive. Means most reviews were people either gave it a 7 or an 8. Generally speaking is what that means. So, yeah, it's been positively received, but this is a film that not a lot of people have seen. I would recommend to take some time out of your day. It's not that long, like an hour and 40 minutes, and just watch this movie. It might really resonate with you, depending on, I don't know, different things. But if I had to give this movie a rating, I'd give it 4 stars out of 5. So, yeah, really good movie. Go watch it. What movie should I review next? What movie should I talk about next? Guys, I watch so many movies. If you want to comment and tell me to do some movie review, I'll probably do it. And chances are whatever you suggest I've already seen. Like, I watch a lot of like movies that are like barely anyone's seen, or a lot of movies that, you know, don't get wide screening at movie theaters. Basically, I'm trying to flex on you and say I watch a lot of movies. That's what I gotta say. I'm watching the movie Leave No Trace tonight, which is once again a movie that not a lot of people have seen, but is super critically acclaimed. So, hoping that's good. Have a great rest of your day.